Rob G. Welcome to Savvy. Today I want to talk to you about how perception is reality. And the more I work with different types of people, whether it be clients or associates or just people in general in my social life, the more I see evidence of, there is reality, which according to the dictionary is, I'm going to read you the definition. Reality is the world or the state of things as they actually exist. So that's reality. I don't think anybody doubts or misunderstands what that means. But there is this certain thing called perception which can alter a reality to a person. So the definition of perception is, again, according to the dictionary, perception is a way of regarding, understanding, or interpreting something, a mental impression. So combine the two. To a person, the state of things as they actually exist can be skewed by the way they understand it or interpret it. So there's reality, and then there's a person's perception of it, which to them is reality. So to better illustrate this, there's the classic example here of, if you look at this drawing, what do you see? You see one of two things, and if you look long enough, you see both. When you look at this, do you see the white vase, or do you see the two people, which is the black part? Could be the negative part if you look at it that way. So depending on your viewpoint or your perception, you see two different things. That's a classic example. The second example here is a little bit more in line with what we talk about when we're talking about visual communication. So, as designers, as visual people, you look at this, all right? You got two people on opposite ends of the same element, and each sees something completely different. So what do you do here? Well, communication is key. We are in the communication business. And by the way, no matter what business you're in the communication business. But if we're talking about the business of design, then we are always communicating verbally, visually, every which way. So the key is, when it comes to communication, in order to be effective, you need to be able to see things from the other person's point of view. Okay? You need to learn to feel their pain point. You need to empathize with them. And then you need to be able to feel what they feel in order to be able to solve their challenge, because that's really what you're there to do. You're there to solve their challenge. So in meeting with a new client, what I usually do in that first meeting is I just listen to them. Now, they've called me because they have a pain point, they've got a challenge, and they're possibly looking to hire me to be able to solve that. So when I sit down with them, I say, so how can I help you? And I let them talk. One of the key things to effective communication is actually effective listening. So listen to them talk. I listen to them go on and on and on, and they can tell me whatever they want to tell me. And the whole time I'm making mental notes. Sometimes I'm actually writing it out. Sometimes I'll tap it out on my iPad. I always have that handy so that I can always refer to it later. And I just pull key things out of what they're saying, and sometimes what they're not saying. And really, a lot of times during that monologue, sometimes that they give me, I'll find out what their real challenge is so I can get to a real solution. Because a lot of times the thing that they think is the challenge, the thing that they think they're possibly hiring me for, is not the thing that's going to solve their problem. They only think that. So as call me a consultant, as a problem solver is really what we are. My job is to find out what the real challenge is and then offer an appropriate solution. So one time I had this guy call me. He turned into a client, but he called me up and he said, I need a website update. And I said, okay, why do you think you need a website? And he said, well, it's not bringing me business. And I said, okay. So, I did an audit of his website, and then, we sat down and we met, and again, I just let him spill it. So why again do you think you need a website update? And he just went on and on and on and on and on. And the website update is not actually what he needed. I dug a little bit deeper and I found out, number one, his website, after 3 years of being up, he had 0 visibility in a web search. I mean, I Googled this guy's business every which way I knew how, and he didn't come up anywhere. I'm not even talking page 10, nowhere. So that was problem one. SEO was never properly set up on his initial website. Number two, his website, actually I should say, his branding, which was really non-existent. He had somewhat of a logo and somewhat of a look, but that's not really branding. His branding, or lack of it, was inconsistent with his target customer. This guy had built up a multi-generational business that started with his dad, and he took over now that his dad is fully retired, and he's taking it to a whole nother level, and they deal with high-end clients. He gets paid a lot of money by people with a lot of money to do the superior job that they expect, and he delivers. He's very good at what he does. But his website, I'm going to say it's branding, but there was no branding, but his look was really the look that was geared towards moderately priced services. And that's not what he wanted, because that's not who his target audience is. That's not who his current core customer base is. That's not the customer he's serving. So it was completely misaligned. So in the end, what he really needed, he needed branding strategy, which included a logo, which of course included a website, which was properly optimized for search. So he called me up, I need a website update. In the end, he needed basically a complete visual overhaul and branding, so that his perception out there, again, of the people visiting his website, or maybe they had a referral to him and they wanted to check him out, so they went to his website, and to make sure that what they're looking for, he actually displayed, he emoted, he conveyed and communicated in his branding on his website. So that's actually in the stages now, and there's going to be a video on that branding process. So far we've done wireframing, moving into prototype, and we're going to be moving into the logo and whatnot, and we'll keep you in the loop of that in another video. But so far all is looking good, and he's really happy with what he sees so far. So in wrapping up, the takeaway from this is essentially you need to have patience in listening with people so that you can hear their pain points, and then you can formulate a strategy in order to solve that challenge, to take away that pain and solve their real problem. Because again, people don't really know what they need to solve the problem. That's why they came to you. If they knew the solution to their problem, they wouldn't be calling you, all right? Unless, you're in the deliverables business, and, if they need printing and you're a printer and they say, hey, I need you to print these up, and you do it, transaction done, gone. But for us here at Savvy, we're talking about business ownership. We're talking about problem solving through ways of branding and web marketing, and that's how we're gonna solve people's problems and help them grow their businesses. We're here to help them. And when you come from that standpoint of a helping, that you genuinely care, your selfishness washes away, and you're able to focus on them and genuinely, in an authentic manner, help them. And when you help them, boy, you get paid a lot of money, you get a lot of referrals, and you actually feel better about yourself that you're doing outside of just creating, which is fun and awesome, but through that you're able to actually help people. So I hope that helps. I'm Rob G. Remember, always be learning, always stay savvy. Thanks for watching.